Sir, the House will remember that over the past few years that we have been here, we have been demanding a change in the structure of our taxation, and it is only this year we have heard the Finance Minister announce that the time has come when the tax structure of our country must be changed. What exactly is the change in the tax structure that is going to be made still remains to be seen. Only the other day, on the 3rd November in Calcutta, Mr. Pant, chairman of the Finance Commission, was stating that the financial stability of the state and the central governments, as well as the successful implementation of the 8th 5-year plan, depended to a large extent on a radical change of outlook of the people towards taxation. In that speech, he also made it clear that he would expect the common people to pay more taxes. Now, if the change of structure of the taxation system is to be sought in order to continue to exact the limited savings of the common man, deprive him of the necessities of life, then I would not be in favor of any such change. If, however, the tax structure were to be changed for a policy that would make the rich pay for the 8th 5-year plan, I would be in favor of it. I make it clear that it has never been the contention of the people that they would not bear the responsibility of building up the country. In fact, our workers in the factories are sweating day in and day out so that our industrial production goes up. If today we claim higher industrial output, as it is precisely because our men in the wheels of industry have so behaved themselves and have so worked for the well-being of the country that despite the machinations and intrigues of the capitalist class, despite their greed for more and more profits, it has been possible to bring about a sizable increase in the industrial output. The credit entirely belongs to the working people of our country. Similarly, if in the agrarian sector of our economy the production of food has gone up simultaneously, raising thereby the total national income, that is also because of the fact that the peasants, however poor, however destitute, and however suffering, have responded to the call of the government. It is only because of their devotion to duty for the cause of the country that we are today in a position to claim before the whole world that our agricultural production has gone up. I say this because we must remember that it is the people who are paying with their blood, paying with their sweat for the rebuilding of our country's economy, for the rejuvenation of our nation. Our capitalist friends who regard themselves as the captains of industry and have produced more shipwrecks than happy sailings. Would please note this particular fact that it is these men, working people, whether in the agricultural sector or the industrial sector, who are responsible for the rise in production, and therefore it is they who have brought about an increase in the national income from which they have been denied their legitimate share. Mr. Deputy Chairman, now we are discussing the question of taxes. The Finance Minister is in a very chastened mood these days. I think that he is in a very happy posture of mind today when he makes such speeches. He forgets that merely by taking money from the rich you don't disturb to the poor. We have seen in the United States, in Germany, in England, where heavy taxation measures obtain at the same time, relatively speaking, the poverty of the people continues. Sometimes it so happens that the ruling class, the capitalist class, for their common general interest, which is certainly something broader than the interests of, shall we say, the Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, when they promote certain broad interests of the class as a whole, where various factors operate, not merely the fluctuations in the stock market, they are obliged to take certain measures which sometimes even evidently and manifestly hit against what appears to be their immediate interest, but that should not delude us into thinking that the capitalist class in our country, or for that matter that this government, has adopted a policy of making the rich pay for the poor. That is not at all so, and the rupees 1600 crores or so, out of which only rupees 1000 crores would come from the direct taxes, should not make us think that there has been a radical change in this direction that we all desire. We welcome the halting step that the minister takes. We welcome the steps, however belated, and we welcome even the pickpocketing of the capitalists. It requires only a pickpocket to get rupees 1000 crores from the capitalist class. Even when they do such things, we always welcome them